Okay, ladies, I do want to thank everyone for taking the time, first of all, to be here with me on the 2021 Change Your Mind, Change Your Life Women's Zoominar. Mrs. Carson, I would like for you to, at 6 p.m., to start promptly and to bring us in prayer, okay? I can't hear anybody. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
No problem.
Okay.
Could you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me, Rhonda?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
One moment. I'm checking our Facebook connection. Hello, Shon. Hey, Glynis.
Is this streaming on Facebook too?
Yeah, I'm setting it up now.
Okay.
Regardless of what I'm doing, start at 6 p.m. Ms. Carson.
Okay, so I can share it too.
Your hair is beautiful, Trenace.
Thank you. You looking like summertime.
I told her she was just too cute. All right, so Facebook is going live now.
Where is it streaming from?
Let's talk about it with Rhonda.
Okay.
All right. One's in the chat. Okay, that's fine. If you all see me looking down, I'm checking Facebook for any questions or comments.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock.
All right, yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and open us up with prayer. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day and for this gathering of your divine daughters. Thank you for Rhonda McAlister having the vision to organize and orchestrate this event. Tonight, we're asking that you touch each woman who is speaking and allow them to bring life, love, help, hope, relief, and restoration to all who may be in need and to all who are listening. Let this truly be a life-changing event where we can change your mind and change your life at the same moment. Help us so that we can all leave better, do better, and keep improving to be our best selves. In your precious name, amen.
Amen. Thank you for that prayer bringing us in. I would like to take the time from everyone who is listening and watching, welcome you to the 2021 Change Your Mind, Change Your Life Women's Zoominar. We are going to go ahead and get started promptly with our speakers. So please just tune in. And if you are watching on Zoom, I have uploaded everyone's note sheets. If you registered in advance, you were emailed note sheets for each speaker. Thank you.
Trenace takes the road less traveled. She journeys with women to love their authentic self, to live their authentic life. She's thought-provoking, engaging, and informative. Trenace is a caring individual that serves her communities and others. She is a certified master life coach, certified gold success life coach, a published author, podcast host, and has her own podcast group called the Collective Station. Trenace K. Carter is the founder and CEO of One Authentic Woman. So I introduce her to you today. She is not only my accountability partner, my business partner, she is my friend. Welcome, Trenace.
Hey, everybody. Happy Saturday. Thank you for joining us for Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. I've been a part of Rhonda's Change Your Mind, Change Your Life a couple of times throughout the years, but this one is something different and it's definitely something special. Today, I want to talk about the art of self. And the art of self is important because we have to learn how to connect with ourselves. And now more than ever, COVID definitely showed us we were definitely out of touch with who we were as individuals. So when you describe self, self is a person or thing that refers to in respect of complete individuality. Now, I want you to take a few moments and I want you to just close your eyes. And I want you to inhale deeply. You'll feel the cool air rushing through your nostrils and filling your lungs to capacity. Now I want you to blow out through your mouth. Blow out through your mouth like you're kissing whatever that negativity is goodbye. I want you to take a long breath again, and you'll feel that cool air rushing through your nose and kiss that negativity goodbye. But don't open your eyes yet. I want you to think about the thing that makes you smile from ear to ear, that thing that gives you the most joy no matter what is going on around you. It is so important to keep your mind right there in that moment, that thought, that memory, that person, that place, that thing that made you feel happy, because you're going to need it in this journey of learning to love yourself from the inside. It's so important because this past year, we didn't have any connection with anybody, and we couldn't run away from everything that we were running away from within ourselves. Last year, there were no football games, no softball games, no PTAs, no parties, no concerts, nothing was going on. We had to face ourselves, and we had to face ourselves in a different way than we ever have before. There were some of us that looked at ourselves in the mirror, eye to eye, for the very first time. And some of us, it hurt us deeply because we didn't even recognize who we were looking at. At this point, we were forced to look at those things that we were shoving in those closets and just getting in our cars running away from us. So we had to learn how to enjoy our own company. And learning how to enjoy our own company, we began to get clarity, focus, and we began to flow in who we were divinely created to be. And because of that, what we thought about ourselves and about others actually changed. We started to think about, do we like ourselves? Who are we really? When you take off mom or dad, sister, brother, mother, auntie, when you strip away all of those things and strip down to your nakedness, who are you? And that person, do you like you? And when you thought about that, you really began to think about, do I really know me? Because so many of us, we didn't know ourselves. And I say us because me too, because I was a part of that hustling and bustling, concerts and church and this thing and that thing. And those things were distractions that kept me from looking at those changes that were necessary for me to make, for me to be the me that I need to be to serve people. And people may be people that I come in contact with on a regular basis, or a random person, someone who reads my book, or even speaking at a conference. We learned, and I want you to learn to take time for yourself. And for years, I've always started with 5 minutes because, as a busy mom, you really don't have 5 minutes to yourself. You have your kids calling you, you have your spouse calling on you. If you're an entrepreneur, there's just one business thing, you can't close that laptop, there's one more thing to do. If you're going to school, there's one more paper to write. But we don't have that time, not even 5 minutes, to invest in ourselves. And that's so important when we are learning how to be individuals. And I'm saying learning to be individuals because we were individuals as we were kids, right? And then we grew up into the world and we became responsible for things. And when we became responsible for things, we had to show up for those things. And when we showed up for those things, we no longer began to show up for ourselves. Now that we're digging deep into this 5 minutes, and 5 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot when you're not used to having this 5 minutes. Invest that time and begin to study in who you are. What do you like? I mean, really, what do you like? You know what you don't like, right? What do you really like? What makes you happy? What makes you smile on the inside? What do you want to do? So often we can line item by line item what we don't like. But let's learn to line item what we do like, the things that we want to try. Dig into those crates of the past and pull up those things that made you happy. Maybe it's music. Maybe there's a class that you always wanted to take. Maybe you just wanted to go back to school and even get that degree. But dig in that crate because self-discovery is so important in the art of self. And the art of self was important for you to be able to discover who you are when you're learning to love you from the inside. Because as you learn to love you more and more from the inside, those people outside of you, those people, places, and things, those people that you always support and you always cart around, those people are the ones that are going to benefit from that. Investigate those things. Don't just dust it off. Really investigate those things, those memories. Go in the crates. I found some books that I have written for myself for enjoyment. And that reestablished my love for writing. I love music, so I started digging in deeper to the music that I was listening to. I started finding some things from 1950 and started digging deeper in music. Reintroduce yourself to yourself more and more every day, just those 5 minutes. And then maybe you'll see that 5 minutes goes into 10 minutes. And then it'll go into 15 minutes because this is all about loving you in your time. So my assignment to you, because I love assignments, because assignments are really what help us discover what it is that we've learned about anything. You remember going to school, right? So your assignment is to think about, do you like you? Do you deep down like you? And if you were sitting next to you in a space, would you have a conversation with you? What is it that you really like about yourself? All of those ooey gooey goodness, those secret things about yourself that you don't really share with anybody else. Think about that. Those things that you don't like about you, don't waste too much time with that. Because I want you to think about how you can improve you, because your personal self-development, guess what? That's a part of loving yourself too. What are the necessary tools for your personal self-development? And they don't have to be a whole lot. And it can just start with that 5 minutes for you to think about, where do you want to go? Where do you want to do? What do you want to be? Your next level of happiness. You may want to invest in a coach. You may want to purchase a class. You may want to take a vacation. Whatever that is, figure out what that is. The world is waiting on you. And if you do not take the time to invest in you, loving you from the inside, then you will not show up your best self. The art of self helps you recognize the importance of your personal self-development and influence to the people, places, and things in and of the world. And that's it. Good night, you all.
Thank you very much, Trenace. That was very eloquently spoken. Thank you very much. And to you and ShonSpeaks, I want to let you know that Mr. Ryan King is on Facebook and he's telling you all hello. All right, so we're going to go and we're going to continue on. Did anyone have a quick question or comment for Trenace? No? Okay, so we're going to go on to our next introduction, and we will hopefully have time at the end if anyone has any comments or questions for our speakers.
Andrea L. Carson. Andrea retired from state government after 32 years of service in 2009. She served as a licensed social worker, parole officer, parole supervisor, and program specialist prior to becoming Deputy Director of Communications and Public Affairs for the Ohio prison system. Upon her retirement, she was recognized nationally as the best in the business by the American Corrections Association. Andrea served longer than any other woman of color in her role as Deputy Director of Communications nationwide, which was 15 years. She earned her degree at Eastern Kentucky University, Bachelor of Science Criminal Justice, and was a licensed social worker in the state of Ohio. After retirement, she continued working by serving as Executive Director of her husband's consulting firm, Success is His. Andrea has traveled worldwide in her role as a consultant, subject matter expert, and trainer. She and her husband have provided consulting and training services to a score of state and county agencies across the U.S., as well as Trinidad, St. Lucia, and the Virgin Islands. In addition to being a trainer, she is a mentor, life coach, and a very engaging public speaker. Yes, she is. Andrea has been speaking for over 35 years at workshops, training sessions, churches, conventions, conferences, banquets, and other professional or social activities. In 2004, Andrea created Her Story, a nonprofit ministry which provides toiletries and books to women in jails, shelters, halfway houses, and other temporary housing. Her Story is also a 4 to 6 week training module which helps women find their voice, their faith, and their self-esteem. Andrea's passion lies in helping to build up other women. In 2020, Ms. Carson added the title of author to her resume by penning her first book. It was published in August 2020. My Prayers, My Purpose, God's Promise is an inspirational collection of prayers. She is currently working on her second book. Congratulations. Andrea is the loving wife of her soulmate, Jeffrey. Their blended family consists of 4 adult children, 6 grands, and 1 great-grandchild. Andrea and Jeffrey Carson have been residents of St. Louis for 7 years. She is a lifelong Baptist and has been a deaconess since 1991. Her motto is, "Your heels are never too high for me to lift you up." Her favorite scripture is Psalms 121. "I will lift up my head to the hills from which comes my help. My help comes from the Lord." Introducing to you, Mrs. Andrea L. Carson.
It's my boo. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for including me in this. I just feel so humbled to be amongst all of you beautiful women today. And I just want to say that it's amazing what God puts together, because I'm going to pick up exactly where Trenace left off with loving ourselves. I want to talk to you all about excessive baggage and how to let it go. Now, you all know that when we get to the airport, we have those suitcases that we're worried about that might weigh more than that 50 pounds. And we know that if it's more than the 50 pounds, we're going to have to do one or two things. We're either going to have to pay that fee, or we're going to have to move some of that excess stuff out of that bag and put it into another bag. Well, for my 15 minutes, I want to talk to you about moving some of the excess baggage out of your way so you can become the best you that you can be. Now, when we go to the airport and that happens, we know that if our bags are too heavy and we don't have another bag to put things in, we're going to have to pay a fine. Well, what is the fine that we as women have to pay when we are carrying around excess baggage and heavy weights that we don't know how to let go? I'm glad you asked me that question. So what are some of the heavy weights that we as women in particular carry around? And I know there may be some men watching this, and that's all good, but I want to talk to my divine sisters right now. So some of the weights that we carry around are hurt from our younger years as youth and during our high school time, disappointments of days gone by, painful memories of some things that may have happened when we were growing up in our families, jealousy, envy, deceit. Some of us have internal hemorrhaging from toxic relationships. All of these things become excess weight that we carry around as we move through our daily lives. We bury these things, and before we know it, it's become part of our own personal fat cells. These aren't weights or baggage that we can go and get a magic pill to dissolve. These are things that we as individuals have to face head on. They become weights that sometimes weigh us down to the point where we can't move without it becoming a struggle. In Psalms 139:14, it states that we were fearfully and wonderfully made. And we all know that God took a rib from Adam, blew divine breath into that rib to create woman. So we know that we are divine. We know that we are wonderfully and fearfully made. So those are three things that we must keep in our mindset at all times. Why is it that we can't eliminate these weights or this baggage? One reason may be insecurity and just not knowing how to let go of things. And another reason may be that we don't love ourselves the way we should. Loving ourselves is a priority. Now, I know that each of you have one of these somewhere in your house, a mirror. You might have a mirror on your wall, a mirror in your restroom, a mirror in your car. I know a lot of us, when we get in the car, we look in that rearview mirror to see if we have our lipstick on right. But every one of us should have one of these. This is a mirror. And this mirror is so much more important than just showing us a reflection of what we look like at that moment. This mirror can actually be used to look into the deep recesses of our soul. Oh, right. Yes, it really can. So if you hold this mirror up to your face, I'm going to turn it around so I can show you. You hold this mirror up to your face and you look into your eyes in the mirror. So when you do this exercise, we're both giving them homework, Trenace. When you do this exercise, when you hold this mirror up and you look into the mirror, I want you to look into your own eyes in this mirror. But I don't want you to stop there. I want you to look into the deep recesses of your soul. That's right. I want you to go past your eyes, down that vision tunnel, go all the way down that esophagus, and I want you to get into the deep recesses of your soul. I want you to look there and see what excess weight and what excess baggage you are carrying that can be cleaned. Now, we all know what a colonoscopy is. Well, what we're gonna do is our own spiritual and emotional colonoscopy. And we're gonna cleanse ourselves of this excess weight. Let these fat cells just evaporate and burn and go away. So what are we gonna do first? First, we're gonna look for bitterness. We're gonna look for something that's easy to find. I know that we've all come across something that's caused us to be bitter. I didn't get that job. Why did she get that job? What's she doing with my outfit on? You know that's my outfit. Bitterness. So we're gonna let go of this bitterness. We're gonna let it float into the sea of unimportance, not forgetfulness, but unimportance. And then we're gonna look for envy. We need to learn how to let go of what is not ours. Stop wanting something that isn't on your plate. What you have on your plate is enough. And why is it enough? Because it's yours. It belongs to you. And what belongs to you, nobody can come and take that. Nobody can claim it, because guess what? It's got your name on it. And if your name is on it, it's yours. So let's not be envious or jealous of what someone else has that we think should be ours, because what is ours should be our enough. Then we're gonna sweep on past all that, and we're gonna look at the pain and the toxic relationships that we've had to deal with over the years. How are we gonna get rid of that excess baggage? We're gonna speak life. We're gonna speak love. We're gonna do some of the things Trenace already told us to do. Speak life, speak love over whatever that toxic thing is that you're holding on to. Once you realize that nobody can really tell you how good you are or how much you're worth, because you are divinely created, so you're invaluable. We call ourselves queens. If you're a queen, you know that a queen is at the highest point of that pinnacle. Queens are not peasants. Queens are at the highest point of the pinnacle. So we must carry ourselves and believe that we are the things we say we are. Speak life, speak love, speak positivity, speak affirmations over yourself every day. When I look in this mirror, the first thing I say after I say thank you to God for waking me up, even if I don't look good, I still look good. And I tell myself, I am beautiful. I am divinely created. And there's only one Andrea, so hey, take that to the bank. We have to look in this mirror and love and embrace who we are, because there is only one you, and nobody can do you better than you can do yourself. Then we need to drop the weight of pettiness and stay focused on what really matters. Don't get caught up in all that petty stuff. Don't worry about it. If you didn't get to it today, that meant it wasn't a priority. If you didn't get to it when you thought you should get to it, maybe that meant that it doesn't carry the necessary importance in your being that you think it does. We need to learn how to prioritize and let pettiness go away. Then we need to always, always remember that self-talk, who hears self-talk? You hear your own self-talk. You're sitting on the side of the bed and you think nobody's listening, but you're listening to yourself. You're telling yourself, I don't want to get up today. I don't want to do this. You are defeating yourself before your feet even hit the floor. Self-talk is so important. Positive self-talk. When you don't feel like it, you have to push through anyway. As children, and I'm probably the oldest one on here, Rhonda, I don't know, but I think I am. As children, I read to my girls, I think I can, the train that went up the hill, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. We have to speak positive affirmations to ourselves. So before my feet hit the floor, even though the left knee is creaking and the right knee is going the other way, I say to myself, today is going to be a good day because I'm here in it. We have to speak positive affirmations. Positive self-talk is very important. Instead of saying I can't, say I know I can. Instead of saying that's something new and I don't want to try it, say it's nothing new, it's just something different and it's time for me to go a different way. We get so comfortable going down Main Street all the time. Sometimes instead of going down Main Street, we need to go down Broad Street. Try something different. Instead of saying that I'm not good enough, what you have to say is that I'm divinely created. And as I stated earlier, there is only one me, and I know I am the best me there is out there. Nobody can do you better than you can do you. Show me if they can. I know they can't, because there is only one you. If you have to pay a fine for your excess baggage in life, what's that fine gonna be? Depression, isolation. We've all experienced that through 2020, not by our own doing, but by Corona doing it for us. And that's not something that I think any of us want to go through again. So think about what the cost is to carry all this excess weight. Think about what the cost is to carry all this excess baggage. And as you think about it, learn ways to let it go. Some people journal, write down your stuff, put it on paper, and after you write it down, some people throw it away, some burn it up. Write it down, get it out of your system. Some people go to therapy. Therapy, there's nothing wrong with therapy. Therapy's good. Therapy it. Pray over it, but find a way to let it go. And once you let it go, don't go back. Find something new to do. For I know the plans that I have made for you, and the plans are for you to prosper and not to harm you. I wish I could say that was my quote, but that's from Jeremiah. And so as I close, what I want to say to each of you that are listening and under the sound of my voice, emotional and spiritual empowerment is very important. But before you can uplift anyone else, you got to love you, and nobody can do you better than you can do yourself. Get rid of that excess baggage. Let it go.
Thank you so much. That was so awesome. Does anyone have any quick comments for Mrs. Carson before we move on to Dr. Sonya? No? Okay, so we're going to move on. And as I said, we should have time to do some free talk. Glynis, if you are on, let me know that you are on. Can you please put a message in the chat, please?
Dr. Sonya Ogletree is an expert in the field of organizational leadership and currently serves as the 2021-22 chair of the I Hope Women's Business Center Advisory Board in Charleston, South Carolina. She was featured in Forbes magazine as seen in June 16, 2014 issue, spotlighting Southeast women business leaders, and the award-winning Women in Business magazine of the American Business Women's Association. Dr. Ogletree has been a leadership trainer for over 30 years and a business management consultant for 25 years. She has worked with universities in the United States and in China, Japan, and Brazil. Since founding Corporate Cycle Consulting LLC in 2012, Dr. Ogletree has been helping individuals and businesses improve their processes and operations and reach their desired strategic goals. Dr. Ogletree's goals and passions are helping individuals and businesses to be profitable and successful. In addition, rich leadership opportunities through communications, collaborations, and community service. Her organization was named the 2013 Charleston County Small Business Enterprise Small Business of the Year, SBE, and was one of 6 finalists for the 2013 Charleston Metro Chamber of Commerce Small Business of the Year. She also co-founded a nonprofit organization in September 2019 called A Million Strong International, which they provide 4 key programs. 1, relief support. 2, educational support. 3, financial support. And 4, medical and therapeutic services. Dr. Sonya Ogletree Satani has earned a Doctor of Management and Organizational Leadership from University of Phoenix in 2013, a double MBA in Human Resource Management and Healthcare Management from American Intercontinental University, Hoffman State, Illinois in 2006, a Bachelor in Spanish from Wright State University, Dayton, Ohio in 1996, and a master's certificate in Applied Project Management from Villanova University in 2009. She is a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt and is ready to help organizations improve their business standards. Dr. Sonya Ogletree Satani is medically retired from the United States Air Force and has worked in public relations, international public relations, manufacturing, human resources, community organizer, military and government contracting, leadership development and training, and has taught English to speakers of other languages in public and private schools, TESOL. Dr. Ogletree Satani served on the 2017-2018 National Board of Directors and Stephen Buston Memorial Education Fund trustees for the American Business Women's Association and the national president and is now serving as the 2019 to 2021 chair of the South Carolina Area Council of ABWA. Dr. Ogletree Satani is also a 2016 ABWA Top 10 businesswoman and a member of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. With all that she does, she continues to provide one-on-one attention to her family and clients. Introducing to you, Dr. Sonya Ogletree Satani.
Well, good evening, everyone, and I am so glad to be here with you today. I want to thank Ms. Rhonda McAlister for the invitation. For today, I'm going to talk to you about how your skills develop your future and not your circumstances. And let me just say, Andrea, your information is amazing. And of course, everything just kind of leads into another, from Trenace to Andrea, and hopefully you're able to take away some of this information so that way you can build your future and your goals for the success that you want for yourself. So today I'm going to talk to you about my personal story. We'll also discuss the top 5 skills you need to develop for your future. And we will have some interactive activities that will help you move closer to your future success. So Andrea kind of talked a little bit about your old life, carrying some excess baggage. I know for me, I had a lot of excess baggage. So I know my phone was heavy at the time. And let me share a little bit of how that was and how I've transformed into this new life of where I am today. So, you know, life doesn't always follow the plans you lay out for yourself. And as I share a part of my life story, I want you to be able to overcome adversity and find ways in which you can let your skills develop your future and not your circumstances. So one of the life-changing moments that transformed me from being a victim to being a fighter. I experienced abuse as a child. In 1991, I was kidnapped in Brazil. The summer of 1993, I was raped in Japan. And in 2006, paralyzed from the waist down after being injured in the United States Air Force. I went through 6 years of physical therapy in order to be here before you today. Now, if we were in person, of course, you know, I will be standing before you today. But I have also been passed over for promotions. And I can go on and on about all the things that has happened to me, from being discriminated against, attempting suicide, being homeless, being broke. We've all been broke before, trying to figure out where our next dollar is going to come from, having no support losing friends and family members and trying to share with them, this is what I'm trying to do. And they think, oh, you're stupid. Why are you doing that? That doesn't make sense. But I tell you, what kept me moving forward is something that I remember from my childhood. How many of us used to watch Winnie the Pooh? Right? Do you remember when Christopher Robin was talking to Winnie the Pooh and he goes, promise me, you'll always remember you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. And it's words like these that propelled me forward. And I hope that you remember and you can utilize these words to help propel you forward. But also know that we can all overcome the most difficult challenges we face in life when we find a safe place like this conference, like those who are willing to be your supporters, your ride and die, and be able to share our personal story. And when we surround ourselves with like-minded professionals who genuinely care about us, having a mentor by your side throughout your journey, someone who understands the ups and downs of life and are willing to inspire you to be your best you. That is the key asset to your personal and to your professional growth. And we all experience those highs and lows. We all experience those baggage of life. But these are things that we take with us, but it does not define who I am because of being paralyzed, whether mentally, physically, emotionally. We have to find a way to continue to move forward, especially when you are broke, nowhere to go. But your true success will be defined by how you handle both of these. And as you see here, Stephen Covey says, I am not a product of my circumstance. I am a product of my decisions. And I want you to say to yourself, I am not a product of my circumstance. I am a product of my decisions. So whatever decisions that you choose to do, that's going to make a difference. That's what's going to create the legacy and the life that you choose to have for yourself and your family. What I chose to be was a president and CEO of my own company, to be a co-founder and president of a nonprofit organization. I served as past national president, but I'm also a money and business coach, a mentor, a professor, a licensed life insurance agent. And we all have those additional titles: mom, wife, daughter, sister, veteran, friend, and so much more. So I want you to think about your personal story. What circumstances have you gone through? What excess baggage do you need to look at, to reorganize, to get rid of? But who are you today? Who is it that you want to be? So take a moment to reflect on your past circumstances and challenges. Maybe you're facing some challenges today. Take the time to write down who you are or who you would like to be. So, what skills or activities will help you become successful? So, for me, these are the top 5 skills that help me. The first being communication. So, I encourage you to never be afraid to ask for help. Get a mentor, speak up, use your voice. Never be afraid to share with your supervisor that you deserve a raise. Never be afraid to share with your family and friends your goals and dreams. And never be afraid to surround yourself with people who will support you. The second is having critical thinking and problem-solving skills. You have to think on your feet, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who had to figure out how to stretch your last dollar until you get paid on that next paycheck. For me, I was known as the problem solver, the miracle worker for last minute requests. What are you known for? in your career, in your job, with your family, with your friends. The third is leadership and management skills. Having the ability to influence and manage people, resources, and time. In addition, knowing and understanding what kind of leader you are and being able to collaborate and work with others, whether it's virtually or in person. But being able to manage those things that have been given to you. The fourth is the sales and marketing skills. So creating your personal brand, selling yourself through your resume, your work performance, showing the world your skills and talents that make you stand out from others. But of course, when you own your own business, you still need sales and marketing skills. And then finally, decision-making skills. If you want to go anywhere, you have to make a decision. If you want to improve your situation, you have to make a decision. If you want to get out of that rut, you have to make a decision. If you want to launch and grow a business, you have to make a decision. So what decisions have you made? And what decision will you make now to propel yourself forward and reach the level of success that you choose to have? And now that you are armed with one of the most important tools needed to forge your path ahead, it's not the diploma itself that counts. It's about what you've learned along the way and what you do with the education you've gotten in your journey. Of course, your future is in your hands and it's in no one else's hands, but you have to be willing to seize those opportunities. I think about Madam C.J. Walker back in the early 1900s, self-made billionaire, even though she's listed as a millionaire, we know it's a billionaire. But think about the times that she had to go through to make opportunities, to create opportunities. And where we are today, what are you making? What are you creating? What are you taking? She was able to create her army of women sales agents with her sales and marketing, with her decision-making skills, with her leadership and management skills, with the critical thinking and problem solving, and being able to communicate. So if she could use these skills, why can't we? And if we have that desire to become that millionaire, that billionaire, why can't we? So in your journey to success, it starts with believing in yourself, committing to those action steps and going for the growth, that mindset growth, not a fixed mindset growth. The difference between a growth mindset is when things happen, you say, you know what, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna try it again. I learned my lesson. A fixed mindset is, oh, well, I guess I was never good at that. And you never try again, you stop. So if I had stopped because of all those circumstances that happened to me, if I had stopped because people said, oh, you're stupid, you're not gonna amount to anything. If I had stopped because of a fixed mindset, you know, it goes back to what type of company do you keep? And sometimes you got to get rid of those companies that's not helping you get to where you need to be. And of course, it starts with making a decision. So what are your top skills that you need today? And I want to share this quick video with you to hopefully inspire you as well.
All of you leaving here have the potential for enormous success. There's a price that comes with that. First and foremost, knowing who you are. Knowing who you are. Being able to answer this question, who am I? And what do I want? I'm asking the bigger question of who am I? Who am I really? And what do I want? I don't want to just be successful in the world. I don't want to just make a mark or have a legacy. The answer to that question for me is I want to fulfill the highest, truest expression of myself as a human being. You must have some kind of vision for your life. Even if you don't know the plan, you have to have a direction in which you choose to go. You want to be in the driver's seat of your own life, because if you're not, life will drive you. Knowing who you really are in this space and time that we embody. You must find a way to serve. Martin Luther King said that not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great, because greatness is determined by service. Now, we live in a world where everybody wants to be famous and where we admire people for just being famous. We think being known brings us value. The truth is, all of that will fade in time. In 3 years, you won't be able to name the housewives of Atlanta. The real truth is that service and significance, service and the significance that you bring to your service is that which is lasting. When you shift the paradigm of whatever it is you choose to do to service, and you bring significance to that, success will, I promise you, follow you. Service and significance equals success. Here's the key: learn from every mistake, because every experience, encounter, and particularly your mistakes are there to teach you and force you into being more of who you are. And then figure out what is the next right move. What is your true calling? What is your dharma? What is your purpose? All of you leaving here have the potential for enormous success. There's a price that comes with that. People don't always like you, and they're not always happy for you. And if you surround yourself with people who are not accustomed to your success, they become fearful, they become scared, because you are reflecting back something to them that they don't recognize. People who want the best for you want you to be your best. So my greatest advice to you is to surround yourself with people who are going to fill your cup until your cup runneth over. And what I know for sure is that the biggest choices begin and end with you, your internal big questions. Who do I want to be in the world? Be excellent. People notice. Let excellence be your brand. Everybody talks about building a brand. I never even knew what that was. When people say, you're a brand, I would say, no, I'm just Oprah. What I recognize now is that my choice to, in every way, in every example, in every experience, to do the right thing and the excellent thing is what has created the brand.
So from this video, from what I've shared with you, it's now time for you to take your action steps to build your skills, to build your brand. And how are you going to do that? It starts with exploring your options. Think about ways to leverage skills and fulfill your passions. What are you passionate about? What are your skills? You want to build the capabilities that are relevant to your future self. Your network is your best educational source. When you network with people and you say, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about becoming a coach. Tell me a little bit about what you did. Hey, I'm thinking about becoming an engineer. Tell me, what did you do? I'm thinking about becoming a physician. What was it like? And of course, sometimes we got to start small. And in starting small, you might want to take a couple of courses. You want to go back to school. You might want to partake in an event like this for your professional development. And informal mentoring and formal coaching, that is the way to go. Because you have individuals that can guide and direct you and help you with those skills that you want in order to become successful. So you also want to look at your talent and skill inventory. What do you do better than most people? What do you consider as your talents? And what are things you're always recognized for or known for? So I encourage you to make a list of 4 to 6 talents and skills that best represent you. And from your list, select 3 talents that you enjoy the most and 3 skills that best represent the authentic you. So in summary, just know that we all can overcome the most difficult challenges. I want you to develop your skills in order to build your future. Make a decision today to make the change for your future success. And again, Stephen Covey tells us, I'm not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. And of course, if you want to stay connected to me, you can book your appointment today. I will be giving out free financial needs analysis, a free PDF book on how money works. All you have to do is send me an email and in the subject line, put this conference, schedule appointments, and I'll be happy to coach you, to mentor you, to guide you to your next level of success. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sonya. I have to tell you really quick, when you put your presentation up, even though I know you have briefly told me your story before, reading that, I couldn't breathe for like 5 seconds. And just, I would like to take the time to thank you for your service, truly. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Dr. Sonya? I just wanted to let you know that Facebook is loving you, ladies. You all have been so phenomenal. I am so glad that you are here on the Change Your Mind, Change Your Life Women's Zoominar. Glynis, I know she's traveling, and I want to make sure that she can hear us and to make sure that she has a connection before I introduce her. We may need to come back to her. Glynis, are you on?
I'm here.
All right. All right.
Glynis Howard is a conference host and speaker, business and life coach, author, and entrepreneur. She worked and retired from the healthcare field after 24 years of employment. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Psychology and in the field of applied behavior analysis. Since retiring, Glynis's mission is to use her teaching and training and life experiences to educate, equip, and empower those who seek her services. She relocated to Nashville last year after getting married and in the process of launching Glynis Howard Enterprises. I introduce to you Glynis Howard.
Good evening, ladies, phenomenal ladies. It's very difficult being in the middle. It's either, because Trenace, Andrea, and Dr. Sonya, I might as well throw my notes out the window because it's so repetitive. Like I told my husband that's driving, I'm like, I might as well just throw the notes out. Okay, so I'm just gonna get right into it because I may go into a dead spot. So I I titled it Flip It and Reverse It. We're talking about change your mind, change your life. Until you understand what you're thinking about and the reasons why you're thinking about what you're thinking about, you will not change. When I use Romans 12:2 says, do not be like people of the world, but let God change the way you think. Then you will know how to do everything that is good and pleasing to him. Number one, information does not bring transformation, but conversion does. Until a person has a spiritual encounter that will create a different sense of reality for that person to see that they have a need to change, they will never change their thought pattern. If you change their location, they still will not change. Location does not change mentality. And just like Dr. Sonya says, every day, all day, we are encountered with making decisions. And some of our decisions are based out of our history or based out of our present tense. But what majority of the people that are stuck, I say stuck or paralyzed, are dealing with what even Andrea said about letting go baggage, or stuff that is titled a broken spirit. And a broken spirit means it comes from a lack of understanding or an inability to accept the reality of what it is. A broken spirit is defined as merely emotionally of disappointment, inadequacy, and a regret derived from choices and decisions we've made. Oftentimes, because of a broken spirit that have broke us from our development ages all the way through life, we tend to be stuck in the places because we're trying to prove wrong what that person or that thing that broke us. So we go through life going around in circles, taking laps is what I call it, trying to prove that I am not what my mother told me. I am lovable, so I get in bad relationships, or I get in relationships with men that do not mean me any good, and I call them daddy because I have daddy issues. And so because of a broken spirit that has not been dealt with, we make decisions out of, that's our point of reference. And we spend so much time trying to work out the broken spirit in us that we spend so much time trying to prove that broken spirit wrong. But today we're learning tools about how to flip it and reverse it. And so I'm gonna so in order to get rid of or to deal with the broken spirit, number one, you need a savior. The one that created us, he created us. It said we are fearfully and wonderfully made. He said that I knew you in the womb. I formed you in the womb. Before your mama and daddy ever got together, the Lord formed you. And so he gave, and Jeremiah 29:11 says that I know the plans and the purpose I have for you. So instead of going around taking laps, we need to, number one, seek God for healing. Seek counseling to get healing. Don't try to figure all this out by yourself. Go ahead and find a counselor so that you can deal with the undealt things in your life instead of trying to merely, as we say, I'm coping, I'm managing. We don't manage well. We just, I'll say, I was thinking of this word, we don't manage well. We just begin to make a mess and a bigger mess until we just get so overwhelmed that we find ourselves in a bad position, in a bad place by then. But I'm telling you, the tools that we're getting today, it will help you to flip it and reverse it. The Bible says the Lord is nigh unto you that are of a broken spirit. Luke 4:18 tell you he was sent to heal the brokenhearted. Psalms 147:3 says he heals the brokenhearted and he binds up their wounds. That means he's healing their pain and comforting their sorrow. When you're dealing with a broken spirit, it acts itself out It acts itself out in so many different ways. It can be overachievers. It could be underachievers. It could be staying in abusive relationships. And when you look at them and you're like, why are you staying there? Because they're operating from a broken spirit. It makes sense for us to get out, but it doesn't to them. But until they understand the point of reference of why I am operating like this, because I was molested, I was raped, I was beat, I was abused, I was left. My mother didn't love me. All those different baggages that Andrea. And so how we deal with the broken savior, seek counseling. And then it says in what I read, Romans 12:2, renew your mind every minute, every day. Think about what you're thinking about. If I'm making a decision, am I making a decision based out of my hurt, out of my broken spirit, or is this really a healthy decision that's going to bring about a positive response, a positive reaction? Or am I making this decision based out of my hurt and my dysfunction and my broken spirit? So we have to think about every day what we're thinking about. And anytime a thought comes to us that is contrary to what's in the word and what's even in yourself, even in your own spirit, that is not who I am. And therefore, I'm going to stand on this decision. I will not make a decision that will cause me a bad reaction later that will catapult me. Think about what we're thinking about, because ultimately our decisions have consequences. And we have to live with those consequences. And that's how people end up depressed, because they'll say, I wish I never had done that. But it was based out of a broken spirit. And then it says, and do not spend years. We spent a lot going around.
Glynis, we're losing you.
Lapse our energy and our time trying to seeking God for his plan, for the plan with a positive. So it's because I'm going in the trees right now. I'm going in trees, so I'm gonna have to close it out with think about what you think about, and if it's a negative thought, flip it and reverse it and make it work for you, for your good, because all things work together for the good of them that love God and who are called according to his purpose. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Rhonda, for having me.
Thank you, Glynis. Sorry that you couldn't finish. She hit she's traveling, so she hit an area where she was starting to muffle out. So I am up next. If you want to give me a moment, I am going to get myself set up. So I'm going to share my screen. Dr. Sonya, do you mind speaking or doing some talk while I do this, please?
So while Ms. Rhonda is pulling her information up, I hope you all are having a great time. I hope you're able to take some golden nuggets that when you have information, when you have knowledge, it's good that you have it, but it does not do anything for you. Of course, that's a triple negative, right? You're not going to be able to do anything with it unless you apply it. So it's better to have applied knowledge, right? It doesn't make sense that you have a Stairmaster that sits in the corner, right? You bought it for a reason. It's only good when you use it. It doesn't matter if you have a computer that has dust on it. It's about using it. So we hope that with all the speakers that you hear today, that you will be able to take away and be able to apply the knowledge and move forth with what it is that you choose to do in your life.
Thank you very much. So
You're
my presentation is coming up. It should be on the screen momentarily.
Rhonda McAlister is a mom of 3 and a proud grandmother of 7. She is a certified Lean Six Sigma expert, entrepreneur, author, writing coach, and startup business coach who empowers entrepreneurs to reposition their mindset and optimize their results using Lean Six Sigma techniques through individual as well as group sessions, webinars, and conferences. Rhonda began her entrepreneurial journey in 2004 as a full-time realtor. Since then, her journey has consisted of founding Empowering Entrepreneurs Across America, serving as president for WIA St. Louis, launching the McAlister Enterprise LLC, and other business ventures, including her tax business, TME Tax Preparation. Rhonda obtained her associate's degree in business management and accounting principles from Sanford Brown College and her Bachelor of Science in Business Management Studies from National Louis University. Rhonda has wrote articles for Business Men and Women of Color magazine, as well as for Elation magazine. Rhonda is also the podcast host of TME Podcast, formerly known as Change Radio. I introduce to you myself and the facilitator of the Change Your Mind, Change Your Life Women's Zoominar, Rhonda.
Okay, that's my introduction. Hello, everyone. Hello. My talk today is going to be about negative self-talk. And basically, this is a journey that I have personally been dealing with since, to be exact, September 1st, okay? So I was in a situation where I had to come to realize that I was basically harming myself with just negative self-talk that I was entertaining in my mind, right? So one thing I want to remind us all is that you should have what you say. Words speak life and death into every situation, and your words are part of your future. If you say that you are, you are. If you say that you're not, you are correct either way. But understand that your words go before you, right? So in my situation, when I was dealing with my negative self-talk, this was actually part of one of the trainings that I was going through. And I had to take 7 days, and I'll get to that in a minute, and just kind of collect my thoughts, right? So as I'm going through this process of this personal thing that I was going through, I had to come to realize that my thoughts had nothing to do with anything that someone else had said to me or anything that someone else had done to me, but strictly what I was saying to myself in the back of my mind, in my subconscious mind, right? So people do and behave based on what they value. Nothing will change until your value or your perception of it changes. All behavior is belief driven. So that means the things that I was believing about myself was projecting in my action. So all behavior is belief driven, if that makes sense. So a lot of times when you are trying to figure out maybe why you're doing a certain thing, you may have to get to the point where when you are defining it, you need to ask yourself the why question. And when you're asking yourself the why questions, you need to understand that you need to take everyone else out of the equation, and you need to only concentrate on yourself. So why do you feel the way that you feel? Why do you say those things to yourself? Why does what someone say to you affect you or make you react in a certain way? Because is you cannot control what another person says or does. The only thing that you can control is your perception of it, how you react to it, and what you think about it. Particularly when it comes to thinking things about yourself, you need to understand and figure out why. So we first have to define that, okay? So then you have to begin to measure it. So a measure it could be, for me, I did a 7 to 12 day measure. Actually, I'm still kind of measuring myself, my negative talk, because I'm on this journey, right? But if you want to measure things for yourself or quantify it, one of the things that you can do is, particularly if you find yourself in the same situation and same situation causes you to react or behave the same way, then you need to figure out, quantify it by saying, okay, so when this happens, then I do this. And the only way that you can change or quantify it is to put the two together. Does that make sense? So if someone says to you something negative and you react negatively, then that's your quantify measure right there, because that happened and then you reacted or you thought in a certain way. Okay. So when you measure things out, for me, when you're wanting to make a difference or a significant change, like I said, I did a 7-day span. So I charted my behaviors, I charted my thoughts, right? So in that pattern, for me, what I was able to figure out is that each time that I kept myself on thinking things that were positive or exercising or eating better, then my thoughts and my behavior were different. So I was creating a pattern of change by quantifying myself within that period, if that makes sense to you, okay? So when you go to analyze those things, because you're become conscious of your unconscious thoughts. Take note of your automatic behaviors or emotions of the old you and consciously think of new ways of thinking. So that's what I was just saying. If someone, think of it like this. Have you ever noticed a person who you have to kind of walk on eggshells when you're talking to them? Or if you find yourself needing to approach them with it could be a sensitive situation or just talking to them about something, they're always on the defense, right? So you find yourself being careful with your words, or maybe you don't even deal with it at all because you know how they're going to react. Well, that's the very thing that I'm talking about, because in that person's subconscious mind, they're already, when you come to them, they're already thinking of their rebuttal, right? They're already thinking of their defense. So if that person is you, like I've been dealing with myself on these things, then you have to start breaking that down and analyzing your own behavior. So when someone comes to you or when something comes up, then you're not projecting out this negative behavior because you already fixed it here, so it doesn't project out here to anyone or anybody else. Does that make sense? The improvement, you have to retrain your thoughts, unlearn and relearn emotions. This is not an easy thing to do. Be redefined by the vision, by creating the new state of, that should be mind. I apologize for the typo. A new state of mind. You will literally be losing your mind to create one. And so a perfect example of this is I was listening to my son. Me and my son have these wonderful, awesome conversations all the time. And he listens to, the Elon Musks of the world and some other speakers or whatnot. And one example that he was telling me about is time. An example that Elon Musk gave about time. So he says, if you give yourself 30 minutes to clean up your room, then it's going to take you 30 minutes. If you give yourself 10 minutes to clean up the same room, then it's only going to take you 10 minutes. That is called improvement, right? So whatever space and time that you are giving yourself to improve, to change, to modify, to become greater, then that is the time frame that you're going to be working in. Does that make sense? So myself, I gave a lot of times when I'm going through something, depending on what it is, and I'm hard on myself. So I'll be like, okay, Rhonda, I could be having a little heartbreak thing going on, whatever, right? I'm like, all right, girl, you got such amount of time to get this stuff done and over with, cry, do whatever you feel like you need to do, go get in the shower, pray about it, whatever you need to do to get over it, but I need you to get over it so we can move on, right? So that's how I process things for myself. But when it came to the negative self-talk that I was doing, it was hard to look at, right? When I wrote that out on paper and realized some of the things that I was saying to myself in the subconscious mind, because nobody told me that I was unattractive because I was fat. Nobody said that to me. I said those things to myself. Nobody told me that I wasn't married or undesirable because I was unhealthy. Not one person said that to me. Those were all the things that I was saying to myself, and having to write those things out and quantify them and see what I was doing and not doing helped me to make the improvements that I needed to make for me, right? So coming from figuring it out, writing it out, quantifying it, and then deciding, because as Dr. Sonya said, everything is about the decisions that you make. I had not made the decision to do anything about my weight. I had not made the decision to do anything about my health. I was just rolling with whatever I was doing, just day to day, right? Eating whatever I wanted, going wherever I wanted, eating all times of the night, not exercising, complaining about having to exercise, even the thought of exercise. Girl, please, I was not trying to do the work, period, right? So what I ended up having to do was to make the decision, to make the final decision and act on it. Because you can say that you're going to do something and still not do it, right? You can say that you want to do something and still not do it, because you have to reprogram your thinking, right? And take away the excuses. We all have excuses for something, right? I had to take all of them away, every last single one of them. My son, one of the things he used to tell me, because I work from home and I set my own schedule, right? So I'm not an early morning person, so I don't get up. So 10 a.m. is a good getting up time for me. My son, you need to get up at 5 a.m. You have more to get done during the day. You sleep to 10 a.m., you wasting your day. You didn't sleep for 5 extra hours. All of this, right? I'm like, boy, you better go on. I ain't trying to hear that. You know I ain't a morning person. If I'm not traveling, I'm not getting up. Well, I had to have a shift in my mindset when it came to my own schedule, because in essence, he was absolutely correct, right? So let me tell you what I do now. Mostly every morning, I'm up by 7 a.m. I may not be up with my feet on the floor, but I am up. I turn my TV on YouTube and I listen to my motivational videos, my motivational speaking, or I'm listening to gospel music or something like that. So to get my mind going, right? With this journey that I'm on, I started these doggone TikTok videos. So I do a talk on TikTok, well, just a small talk, 3-minute talk, almost every morning. I get up, wash my face, brush my teeth, head downstairs, and I have a full basement. I'm in this 3-level townhouse by myself. I go downstairs and I work out. I have weights now. I've got a stepper. I've got the little band things that you pull, and I get it going. So, right? So I have decided to control and take control of my negative self-talk by improving it, by doing something about my weight that I was unhappy with in the very first place, right? And feeding myself all of these things in the back of my head thinking that someone thinks about me, but no, that's what I was thinking about myself, right? So I have gone from a 15-minute workout to a 25-minute workout almost every single day. If I'm not doing cardio, then I'm walking. I try to do something every day. I do them freaking squats that I hate, but I do them, right? Because I decided to change where I was going and what I look like for me, okay? So, and not only that, in this whole process, I've almost lost 25 pounds. So I'm proud of me and proud of the process, but I never would have gotten here if I continued to sabotage myself with my own negative self-talk, my own poisonous thinking, right? And everything does seem daunting at first, right? And sometimes getting motivated to do the things that you really don't want to do, it's not easy, right? And a lot of times you don't have anybody that's pushing you or telling you to do this and do that. Of course, I have my son, he's always in my ear, but you know what I mean? So most of the time you're going to have to learn to push yourself. Dr. Sonya, can you check the chat, please? So this process, when you're changing and you're trying to evolve and you're trying to measure and analyze and trying to fix yourself, you're trying to fix these thoughts and all these good things, the process will be unfamiliar and uncomfortable at the very beginning. And it was, right? I was trying to work out and I seemed like I was just uncoordinated, couldn't get the steps right, you know, not just seemed like I was all over the place. And then, you know, because I do some of these videos on TikTok and, you know, you have people encouraging you. But what really worked for me, what really started working for me was when I started seeing the results, right? So I relaxed into it. So when you relax into the changes that are coming, the uncomfortableness, it will get easier. I don't know if that's a word, but it's a word today, okay? This will allow the new you to transform and become a recognizable you, right? So when you start assimilating these negative self-talks and these words that you're saying to yourself and all these crazy thoughts and what you can't do and what you don't want to do and all of those things, you're going to become a better person. You're going to become a person that you're going to like, that you're going to just go love so much more of, right? Once you've come to realize all the things that have been redeveloped on the inside of you, then you will begin to see how the outcome is now affected, right? I have better words for myself. I'm loving this process for me because it's allowing me to spend more time with myself, if that makes sense. So, and I think it was Trenace at the beginning who was saying that we needed to spend time with self. And that was one of the things that I was thinking about. I was like, wow, I've been spending a lot of time with me, right? I go to Forest Park. I do some laps around the lake. I'm walking, y'all. I haven't grown to running yet. I'm walking, but I do some laps around the lake, you know, so I have my headphones on and then, you know, I'm spending time with myself. And that way, sometimes I go for a drive. I've got 3 books I'm reading simultaneously. I'm journaling about this process for myself. And so I'm just loving it, right? So yes, so love on yourself, spend time with yourself, as Trenace said earlier. 3 steps to conquer your negative self-talk. 1 is to have a spirit of high expectation, aim high. And as I said earlier, whatever time frame you say to yourself that you're going to do this or do that, that's what it is. So if you want to take a year to do something when you really don't have to, okay, but just aim high. Step 2 is make the commitment to yourself. Make yourself a priority. There is only one you, as Andrea said. Take care of you. Be the best you. Love yourself. Work out. Challenge yourself. If you're a person who's consistently not on time, be on time. Be a better you. Eat healthier. Save money. Eat at home. Whatever it is, Make the commitment to yourself. Make it a priority. And the third step is to speak it. You shall have what you say. Your words are powerful beyond measure. And I cannot say that enough. When I say change your mind, change your life, it's not easy. Not saying it is easy. It is a process. No matter what it is that you are doing, that you need to change your mindset on in order to change your life, whether it's finances, relationship, habits. We all have bad habits that we can change or improve on, but you should have what you say. Your words are powerful beyond meaning. All right. So thank you very much for listening to my talk today. And that is it for me. So give me one moment and I am going to stop sharing my screen. Dr. Sonya.
Yes, I can't see anything from your chat because I think everything goes direct to you.
Okay. Ooh, I'm about to push the wrong button. Hold on. What's my doggone thing? Hold on for me, you all. Okay, did I stop sharing my screen now?
Yes, you did. You probably got to stop share one more time.
Give me a moment because I don't see it. Okay, now what do we say?
We still see your desktop.
Okay, stop share. Sorry about that. I was overlooking it. All right, so we are back now. So give me one moment. I'm going to introduce the beautiful Miss LaShawn.
The Shon Fleming Bruce, aka ShonSpeaks, is the managing member of the Fleming Bruce Law Firm, PLLC, and a certified brain and mindset trainer. She is also the creative director and chief blogger for freeyourthinkingmind.com and a contributing blogger for forbiddenknowledge.com and podcast host of ShonSpeaks and co-host of Common Ground podcast. Her personal mission is to help people to use their beautiful brains to see with their own eyes, hear with their own ears, and act aligned with their own heart so that they can live their greatest dreams. She supports people in training their brains to flip and expand their thoughts to live their best life in the present moment, no matter the current circumstance. Please connect with her on Linktree at linktr.ee/ShonSpeaks to you. Introducing ShonSpeaks.
Well, hello there, everybody. I am so glad to be here. Thank you so much, Rhonda. That was the whole panel so far has been amazing. And I think it was either as Trenace has said, or I think Andrea said, it's like a tapestry, right? It all sort of fits all together and it's painting this beautiful picture. And so I'm going to add my part to the picture. I'm LaShawn Fleming Bruce. I go by ShonSpeaks. I recently finished my brain health professional certification. Now, I didn't seek this certification because I was looking for new credentials or to add new letters to my letters behind my name. I actually stumbled upon this certification because I was in search of my sanity. See, this year has been just one of those years where life just threw me some curveballs. And I felt like I had never been here before. Relationships that I thought were solid and meaningful and even long lasting started falling apart. And some of them just abruptly ended. And on top of that, the unhappiness that both me and my husband were having in our marriage was exposed and could no longer be denied. And we had to have sort of that uncomfortable conversation with each other that we've been kind of putting off in the past to one day in the future. And that time came, that time was now. We had to have those uncomfortable conversations. And then on top of that, I'm getting older and I started breaking out in these sweats from nowhere. So I'm in I'm in menopause. So it was just been a crazy roller coaster of a year. And although what I was going through seemed new to me, I knew it was not. You see, for the past few years, I've been doing a lot of blogging, I've been doing a lot of podcasting, and many would classify that as maybe self-help or personal development. And though these expressions, I was going through all of these things, and I wasn't really enjoying what life was expressing to me. I wanted to be a person that did not blame others for what was going on in my life. I wanted to have full responsibility of whatever was showing up in my life. And these are all of the things I talked about on my blogs, I talked about on my podcast. But I literally look back at that now and I realized I was literally training for this time that I'm in right now. And with this greater awareness about myself, I was able in this present moment to look at what I was going through, and I could say, wait a minute, I have actually been here before. Maybe not in the same relationship, maybe not the same friendships broke down. Maybe I was not in the same uncomfortable situation. But what was here was that I noticed that as I reflected on each heartbreak, each broken relationship, each unwanted situation, it was me that was present each time. It was me wanting what no longer wanted me. It was me wanting who no longer wanted me. It was me not wanting who wanted me. It was me stuck in a cycle that always had me wishing for what life didn't bring or wanting for what life took away. Our brains are involved in every move we make. It's involved in every feeling we have and every decision we make. And our brains should be working for us. But yet, many of us find ourselves single when we want to be married, married when we want to be single, in an abusive relationship when we want to be in a loving relationship, or being used by friends when all we really want is true confidence. And despite these disappointments with life and with other people's decisions, we find ourselves sort of stuck, wanting what doesn't want us, wanting for that person to come back, wanting for that employer to hire us back, and wanting a past life that is no more. And every time we have a thought our brains reward us with a chemical release. And these chemicals are either feel-good chemicals, feel-bad chemicals, or feel indifference chemicals. Now these thoughts that we have, these neurochemical thoughts, are neurotransmitters as they're called. The most common ones, and I'm sure you've heard of them: serotonin, That's that related to mood and that calming neurotransmitter. Cortisol, that's stress, that's that when you have that stress. Dopamine, when you need that drive and motivation. Norepinephrine, that's when you need that energy and alert production. Oxytocin, trust, that feeling of love, joy. And endorphins, that's stress relievers. These are all chemicals that are released every time you have a thought. Now, thoughts come into our mind automatically. And let me tell you something, y'all. Thoughts lie. The chemicals released in our brains when we have thoughts can cause certain brain functions to be overreactive or underreactive. Just because you think a thought does not make the thought true. Let me save some of you just a few dollars on counseling, right? Because I've already paid for it. You can't make somebody come back that want to go. You cannot get a job or an employer to take you back after they have let you go. And despite whatever traumatic event that has occurred in your life in the past, it has happened already. And no amount of holding on to it is going to change that. One of the things that I learned about myself on my new brain health journey is that my brain produces low serotonin. This actually makes sense to me now because exercise has always been my go-to therapy. Because I noticed years ago that if I go too long without exercising, I become a monster. I become moody. I become a person that I don't even want to deal with. I become stuck on thoughts that I can't let go. Now, there's this structure in your brain called the limbic system. The limbic system is your emotional center. When outside data and experiences come into your world, it registers first within the limbic system. This is where you give emotional attachment to that data or to that experience. This is where you tag those experiences or that data as meaningful, sad, safe, dangerous, happy, joyful, whatever tag you give to it. Now, this data then travels to your temporal, occipital, and your parietal lobes, where it is processed and compared to prior experiences that you may have had. And then it goes to your prefrontal cortex, which is considered to be your CEO of your brain and body. And that's where you make a decision of what to do or not to do. Now, although this process may seem long, this is all done instantaneously. Now, there's this part of the brain that's within the limbic system called the anterior cingulate gyrus. Now, this brain part has a function that's very unique. It has the ability to, it gives you the ability to shift attention. It gives you the ability to have cognitive flexibility. It gives you the ability to move from idea to idea. It gives you the ability to detect errors. It gives you the ability to cooperate, the ability to see options, and the ability to go with the flow of life. Research has shown that an overactive anterior cingulate gyrus generally means you have low serotonin being produced in the brain. So because you might have low serotonin being produced in your brain, you have to really be mindful of the 4 circles of brain health so that you can make sure you're bringing in or adding in serotonin where it may not be naturally produced. And those 4 main areas of brain health is biology, that's your diet and your exercise, your social, that's your relationships, your friendships, your business, etc. That's your psychological, that's your inner thoughts. Like Rhonda was saying, your negative thoughts that may be replaying in your brain, and you may not even be conscious of it. And your spiritual. It's your purpose, your vision for yourself. One way to train your brain to deal with what is, because the title of the topic that I'm talking about is what is training your brain to embrace reality. And one way to do that is to learn to flip it, right? It's really to learn to flip it. I think Glynis had started speaking about this. Flip the current thoughts that are causing the stress. Flip the current thoughts that are causing the sadness, the heartbreak, the feelings of unworthiness. But you have to flip it into accurate thinking about yourself, about others, and about life in general. Now, but this is the rub. This is the hard part. You can't flip or challenge thoughts you don't notice. I noticed for a long time that I was doing things, I was producing literally the same outcomes in my life, but I did not know how I ended up in the same situation with a different person on a different day in a different year. But it kept happening over and over and over again. And it's these thoughts that you're not noticing, but you are believing, that are dictating outcomes in your life that you have a continuous discontentment with. Now, hear me on this. If we were at church and if I was preaching, I would say, touch your neighbor. I'm about to tell you something shocking. But we ain't at church, and I'm not a preacher, and I'm not going to ask you to touch your neighbor, but you might want to touch yourself with this. Hear me. Whatever is going on in your life right now are needed moments. And it's exactly what you want. Now, I know you're saying ShonSpeaks. I don't believe you. And that ain't true, because there's a lot of things going on in my life right now that I don't want. But I'm going to repeat it. Whatever is going on in your life at this moment are needed moments and is exactly what you want. The only reason why you disagree with me is the same reason why I used to disagree with myself when that first came to my mind. And it was because the story you believe about yourself, about others, or about life in general is different from your current reality. Yeah, I said that. That's the only reason, because you told yourself a story that don't match with current reality, and you mad about it. You sad about it, right? You're heartbroken about it. The day my husband moved out of our home into his own separate house was a needed moment for me and was a needed moment for him. Why? Because it was happening. I had to decide in that moment, who was I going to be? Was I going to be the angry wife? Was I going to be the scornful wife who said, oh, I can't believe this man left me? Was I going to be the wife who turned into a friend, who helped someone that she loves move into his space for his happiness, move into his space and give care to where my children will share time? And I chose to be the latter, because I was tired, y'all, of boxing with reality. I was tired. See, when we were married and living in the same house, I was always unhappy, because he wasn't doing this, he wasn't doing that, he could improve on this, he could improve on that. So when he moved out, I had to be faced with this new reality. Why pretend in this new reality that I needed something, that I wanted something, or that I was angry about something, or that I was scorned, or that he did me wrong, when in actuality, it was what I needed. And what I needed more than anything was I needed to embrace what was going on. I needed to embrace what is. In that moment, I needed to have accurate thinking about what was happening in my life. Now, my initial thought, because I am, how we can be, I was like, I cannot believe this asshole is moving out on me and leaving me and the kids by ourselves. That was my initial thought. I thought he was wrong for it. I really did. And that, had I not gone through years of podcasting, reading, learning, teaching, exposing my own negative thoughts, I would have continued to feed that thought, which would have continued to feed the chemical, release that chemical that was going to make me moody, uncooperative, always saying no, not able to move past and go from see options about life. I would have just stayed stuck. But after I flipped that thought and got out of his business, I realized that he wanted to be happy too. And he was only doing what he felt was best for his happiness. You see, my normal unconscious behavior would have been to just replay it in my mind how wrong he was. And I would have classified him as selfish. I would have classified him as, what I would have classified him, right? You know what I would have called him. But I couldn't do it this time. I could not bring myself to fight with reality. I wanted to fully embrace what was happening in my life because I no longer wanted to be a victim to other people's decisions. And I no longer wanted to be a victim to my own decisions. I no longer wanted to take my thoughts and turn them into Shon's drama. Because I realized that over the years in the area of my relationships, I always played the victim. I always played the girl who got her heart broken. I always played the girl who wanted somebody back. I always played the girl who didn't get what she wanted necessarily out of life. But when I started to realize that there's basically three businesses in the world, three main businesses, is my business, is your business, and it's life business. Now, my business is the things that I can control. Your business is the things that you can control. And life business is that part of this ecosystem that happens without consulting me. Now, some of you might want to call that God's business, life's business, God's business, whatever registers with you. Every time I focus on thoughts without challenging them or expanding the thought or flipping it, like I like to call it, I am putting my nose in someone else's business. And I am adding another layer of separation from my state of gratitude. You see, I am gratitude in the flesh unless I believe a story that separates me from myself. Every time you fight reality with your story of what you thought it should have been, what you thought you wanted it to be, or what you thought that person should have done or should not have done, you are guaranteeing, how they say guarantee? I guarantee you are going to lose every time. You're going to be in grief every time. You're going to be in frustration every time, and you are going to be in heartbreak every time. When you are willing to flip a thought, right, you begin to see one thought at a time, and it takes time, y'all. And I don't actually think you ever get done doing this until you're done. When you begin to see one thought at a time, that it was the thoughts that you turned into a story that created the character that you were unconsciously playing that is causing all of your pain, you will run to start flipping your thoughts, right? Because when you learn to flip the thoughts, You learn to flip fear into no fear. You learn to flip want into no want. You learn to flip heartbreak into an openness to love, disappointment into opportunity, hate into love. And this one right here, it's hard for some people to get it, but after you flip for a while, you understand. You begin to understand and you begin to flip the need to forgive yourself and to forgive others into realizing that there is nothing to fear, to forgive. You see, what is. What is present in your life is what is present. And how do I know that what you want or who you want, you don't need? Because you don't have it. Because if you needed it, it would be in your life at this moment. See, when you can get to the point where you can take your present reality and you can say all of these moments that are occurring right now are needed moments, you can live with a gratitude about your existence. Because if you were to die in the next moment, wanting in this moment what you did not have, then the only thing that would be true for that want would be that it's a part of your story, but it wouldn't be true for your life, right? Because if you die in the next moment and you don't have what it is that you want, you didn't need it. Your story may have needed it, but you didn't need it. We have to understand that we are more than the stories that we tell ourselves. Don't worry too much about what has left your life. Uh-oh, I think I'm frozen. Am I still here? Am I frozen? Okay, I think I froze for a second. Am I here? Am I back?
You're here. We can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. Don't worry too much about.
Greta Gordon.
Don't worry too. Don't worry too much. I muted myself. Don't worry too much about what has left your life. Don't worry too much about the things that you would like to happen in your life. The one thing I'm learning about life is that life has this way of shaking up your world and bringing in exactly what you want and taking out what needs to go. And life does it on life's schedule. What you have to do is get out of life's business and worry about and deal with what you can deal in your business. And so what I wanted to do, I just want to leave you with just this thought. I don't want you to keep fighting life, right? Wanting life to be different. I want you to embrace your life right now, no matter what is going on, as being needed moments and aligning with exactly what it is you want. Because if you start to do that, you start to flip those thoughts, then in this moment, you realize that you are training in this moment for this moment and seeding in this moment for the harvest of the moments thereafter. Now, one of the things that I'm offering, if you are watching this or if you catch on replay on Facebook, is that I am offering a 30-minute Flip It session with ShonSpeaks. And I'm doing it for $50 for a limited time period. So if you are interested in learning how to flip your thoughts, right? Because when you start to do it unconsciously, right, then that's the key. Just like you were unconsciously having these negative thoughts that was driving your life, you're going to learn how to unconsciously have these, you're going to flip these negative thoughts into positive thoughts or neutral thoughts so that you can produce the life you want. Because I will say this as closing. When you can begin to really pay attention to your thoughts, your inner thoughts, right? Because you're now aware of your brain function. Your inner thoughts, because of optimal brain function, is going to help you make better decisions. And when you start to make better decisions, your outer life will reflect better decision making. And you can begin to live the life of your dreams right now. This is ShonSpeaks. Ashe.
Thank you very much, Shon, LaShawn. Okay, we are moving right on and we're going into Miss Kimberly Dabney. Kimberly Vonshay Dabney. Give me one moment, please.
You, Kimberly, empowering one another to embrace.
Hold on, let me restart that. I apologize. Okay, here we go.
Kimberly Dabney is a 42-year-old single mother of 2 sons. She was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, now residing in Houston, Texas. She has worked in the field of hair, fashion, and beauty as a master stylist and color specialist for over 25 years. She enjoys helping women to enhance and embrace their inner beauty from the inside out. She finds great joy in changing the lives of women through her gift and artistry of hair and fashion stylings. Kimberly first began styling hair at the tender age of 12 and quickly recognized it as one of her God-given talents, as well as her platform to minister and empower women. She has loved all things fashion since the tender age of 5. Due to her great love for people and keen interest in human behavior, Kimberly decided to pursue a master's degree in psychology at Houston Baptist University, which she had completed and graduated in May 12th of 2018. She lives by her motto, live in purpose on purpose. Kimberly fully understands the obstacles women face in their day-to-day lives and desires to help women become a better them one step at a time. She received the revelation of Jesus Christ at the tender age of 6, and you can tell. Her childhood memories sparked her interest in understanding human behavior, which led her to pursue and obtain a master's degree in psychology from Houston Baptist University. Her repertoire demonstrates her ability to relate to any audience. Kimberly's passion and heart for people inspired her to build a safe haven for girls and women to express their hidden hurts, pains, and vulnerabilities confidentially. Pretty Virtuous Girl Society is a Christian biblical-based mentoring program founded by Kimberly in April of 2018. Our community is composed of a community of females seeking knowledge, wisdom, tools, and resources to assist them in becoming their best self. The program is centered around reshaping, restructuring, and rebuilding the minds of women all across the globe who have suffered various forms of abuse, experienced loss, lack understanding on how to find their life purpose, as well as lost touch with those who they are, and walk in fear of living in their truth authentically. Kimberly's primary passion is to assist girls and women in cultivating their relationship with God. Her mission statement highlights the core beliefs of the foundation stating, "You are covered in virtue and made to win." Her message is supportive, encouraging, and empowering. Her work is divinely orchestrated, mandated, and constructed under the principal authority of God. Kimberly is a natural-born leader who is compassionate and generous. She humbly dedicates her life to mentoring a diverse group of females through prayer, wisdom, and faith. This is far more than a community. It is a society of like-minded individuals who lend support while empowering one another to embrace, cultivate, and practice walking in their God-given virtue. I introduce to you Kimberly Vonshay Dabney.
Okay, sorry guys. Hello, ladies. Thank you so much, Miss Rhonda, for having me. I just want to say everybody did a phenomenal job. And yes, we all are definitely piggybacking off of each other tonight. So I'm going to do my best to close this out strong, because each one of you have touched on things that I'm going to be speaking about. But I do want to start off with a song, as Rhonda just so eloquently said. Yes, I do love Jesus, and yes, it does show. So I just want us to get a song in our spirit that is in alignment with the message and word that I am about to give to you guys. And I'm just gonna play a quick little snippet just to bless y'all for a second. Okay, so I'm gonna hop right into this. My subject is the power of changing your countenance, becoming the modern day woman. More importantly, becoming a high value, kingdom minded woman. We have been hearing the term high value man, high value woman. That's the term that is being thrown around a lot. It's a trending term at this point. So I'm just gonna first jump right in with God's countenance. And if we are truly trying to walk and live according to the will and plan of God for our lives, we must first understand his image and how we can mirror his image. So this is what I'm going to be speaking on today, and just giving you all some useful tools on how you can become a high value woman and a kingdom minded woman. I will be like I said, I'm going to be touching on a lot of what's been talked about today, because this can be applied to friendships, relationships, business. And so first I'm going to give you the definition of countenance, because everybody may not fully understand that, but that's your visage, your facial expression. What do you give off when people first encounter you? Because we all know first impressions are lasting impression. So, and that's one thing most people say about me upon meeting me, like, you're always so pleasant, you're always smiling, because I understand who I represent first and foremost. Despite what I go through, I, like Dr. Sonya, am a survivor, a sexual assault survivor. I have God miraculously healed me last year. A mass was found on my colon that I went to the doctor to get the colonoscopy to be told we don't see a mass. I've had 3 pulmonary embolisms. I've had a stroke. I'm just giving you guys a quick rundown so that you can understand why this subject means so much to me personally. I'm a single mother, and I mean a serious single mother where I don't have the assistance of the fathers, but I'm not the mother that bashes my sons' fathers. I still speak life to my sons about their fathers. I don't allow them to disrespect their fathers, because again, I understand who I am in God, and I keep a certain image. And again, this is going back to my countenance. When people see me, I want them to see God. I want them to see the light of God in me. I want my children to see the light of God in me, so that when I'm not here anymore, they know how to carry themselves when adversity comes and when storms come, and they understand the importance of keeping your face and staying in your proper position. So again, your countenance is about your appearance, your facial expression. What are you giving off when people first see you? Do they see you and think, oh, she's pleasant? Or do they think, oh, she's so standoff, or she's rude? Your image will dictate if doors are going to be opened or closed for you. That's why this is very, very important. If you want to become a kingdom high value woman, that is a kingdom minded woman, first and foremost, you have to have your image together. You cannot be walking around looking frumpy, complaining. Even you could be facing doomsday. Just because you're facing doomsday doesn't mean the world has to know it. Because if you're truly walking in faith and walking in the light of God, the world is going to see that. That's me personally. Last year, when my body was going through all that sickness, I mean, I had lost so much weight. I wasn't keeping food down, but I was getting up, showing up every day as if nothing was wrong with me. So when I did finally open up and began to share with people, specifically some of my coworkers, the owner said to me, like, Kim, I would have never known that you've been this sick. Like, you hide it so well. And it's not necessarily that I was hiding it. It's showing people how to put your faith into action. And that's one thing about a high value woman. She's very self-aware. She knows how to keep herself in control. She knows how to keep her temper and emotions in control. She's very good at regulating her emotional temperature. Even when adversity arises, she stands firm in her faith. This is the true evidence of a high value, kingdom-minded woman. She's not easily shaken. She's not easily broken. So if we go back to the countenance of God, I'm going to quote something I found on Christianity.com. God's countenance is really a metaphor or representation for his expressions. It's God's approval. God's approval and blessings are attached to our spiritual image. And so one thing I will say, because my sons used to be like, oh, mommy, it doesn't matter. We're just running to Walmart. But you don't know who you're going to bump into at Walmart. So for me personally, I'm not going in Walmart looking any kind of way. And forgive me, I don't remember who it was that talked about, I think it was Dr. Sonya, when she played about Oprah sharing her story, and she spoke on branding and imaging. That has always been very important to me, because I understand I'm my walk-in advertisement. Again, that's going back to that countenance. What am I putting out? So just because I'm going in Walmart, does that mean I go in Walmart with a bonnet and house shoes on because I feel like, oh, I'm just running in here to grab some paper towels, no big deal? But your next client could be in Walmart. If you are a single woman, your husband, your king, could be in Walmart. And if he catches you in Walmart and maybe you got a bad attitude, your hair all over your head, he won't even recognize you. Because one thing about a high value man, he's looking for a high value woman, and she has certain attributes. And so I want to jump into telling you guys some of the attributes that you can find in a high value woman. She doesn't negotiate her standards. She's pretty firm and set in her beliefs, her morals, values, what she's looking for career-wise, what she wants out of a relationship. She's well aware of this. This particular woman, she knows her worth. She knows her value. She doesn't look for other people to validate herself. She knows how to get on her knees and pray when she's feeling empty, when she's feeling broken. She doesn't run to a man. She doesn't run to outside things. She runs to the word of God. She runs and looks within herself to see what it is about herself as to why she's feeling so depleted. That's that personal development piece. High value women make personal development a huge priority. I personally can tell you guys, I began therapy about 3.5 years ago, and I have been doing this consistently every week for the past 3.5 years. For 2 of those years, I really didn't work. I was solely focused on my personal development and becoming a whole, healthy person again. And this is something that you will often see in a high value woman. She is not ashamed to be vulnerable. She is not ashamed to let people know that she's not okay. She doesn't mind admitting, hey, I need help. She understands that that does not make her weak. She understands that there is unity in community. And again, she still keeps her face in the midst of me going through therapy, all of that. I still was speaking life. I was still ministering to other people. I was still going serving my clients. I was still showing up for my sons. I was doing everything that the Lord had placed in my heart to do, because again, a high value woman is so secure within herself, but more so secure in her faith in God that she is not easily moved. She is not easily shaken. This woman is very self-aware. She is empathetic. not only is she empathetic to others, but she knows how to show herself empathy. She knows how to give herself grace. She's, how Rhonda was saying earlier, sometimes she would be her hardest critic. That's one trait. The more you get into the personal development, the more you will come into an awareness of yourself. And the more you understand yourself, you'll be less prone to feel like, oh, this is bad about me, this is wrong about me, when maybe it could be tied to something that happened to you in your childhood. It could be tied to an emotion that you thought you were over, that you really were not over. So again, that's why it's very, very important to begin to do that self-work. Like, that's why I love Iana when she tell people, do your work. Doing your work is extremely important to becoming a high value kingdom-minded woman. And I'm going to read you guys a scripture coming from Matthew 17. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. Jesus is the candle that lights up our spirit. Understand that perception is everything. You are who you think you are, period, point blank. If you look in the mirror and all you see is, I got blemishes, I'm overweight, I'm underweight, my hair too short. If you spend your time and your days focusing on all of your flaws, all of your negatives, what do you think is going to manifest? That's what you're giving off. And that's what people, when they see you, that's what they're going to see. No matter how much makeup you put on, no matter how many beautiful clothes you attempt to adorn yourself with, if you are not right internally, if you're feeling dark inside, that's what's going to begin to exude outside. And that's why I love this particular scripture, because it says the eye is the lamp to our body. So you have to be mindful of what you're watching, who you're listening to, because our ear gates play a very important part in us perceiving who we are and what we give off to the world. Someone said, and it may have been Trenace, like, who do you want people to see? When you show up in the world, what do you want people to know and to think about you? It's a very, very important question. I often have my mentees, one thing I'm really big on, and that's going to be the homework assignment I give. I love affirmations. And I think it's very important for us as women to affirm ourselves so that we are not looking for outside people to validate and affirm us. We first have to be able to do that for ourselves. So every day I spend at least 5 minutes in the mirror telling myself, you're beautiful, you're smart, whatever it is that you feel about yourself. And even if you don't feel it, but you know you want that and you want to become that person, you have to begin to position yourself as if you are already there. And this is what a high value woman does. She sees herself where she wants to go, and then she begins to walk it out. She begins to walk into that thing, regardless to what it looks like, regardless to what she doesn't have. She believes exactly what God said to her, and she begins to move into that. She understands that there is going to be obstacles, there's going to be adversity. But one thing about this woman, her face and her faith does not change. Her face and her faith, they match at all times. When people come to her, they know this woman is a powerhouse. This woman can make things happen. This woman can make things change, because one thing about a high value woman, she's not easily intimidated. High value women are not only aware of their thoughts, but they know how to own and correct them. They don't just point fingers of blame. They believe in self-accountability. They know how to apologize. More importantly, they know how to forgive themselves, because I think that's something that we struggle with as women, whether it was us being in a bad relationship with someone who was toxic, or maybe we ourselves were toxic. We don't give ourselves enough grace. And that's one thing that a high value woman has learned, how to give herself grace, but she's also learned how to be honest and transparent and truthful with herself about the ugly parts of herself. And she works diligently every day to change those things. She fully understands it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but she does understand that she has to pick that particular, because that's a part of her cross. She has to pick that up every day and be mindful of her reactions to people, situations, and all of that. That way she stays in control. She's doing the fruit of the spirit. She's walking in love. She's being kind. She's being generous. This is how you can recognize a high value woman. And then I want to go into a little bit about the mindset of a queen. Queens set and enforce, and they establish boundaries. Just think about a queen as she's sitting on a throne. Not anyone can just walk up and talk to her. Not anyone can just walk up and touch her, because she understands her value. She understands that she's precious. She understands that there are people out there who want to harm and attack her. So she stays on guard. She doesn't just allow people to do and say anything to her. And as a high value woman, you have to know how to set boundaries. And many of us were very, very good at setting them, but we're not the greatest at enforcing them. We'll speak it, but then when the time comes to tell a person the famous word of no, we find that very, very challenging. And no has to become your best friend in this season. If you truly want to grow into the fullness of who God has created you to be, you got to know not only how to say no to people, but there are going to be places you don't need to go. There are going to be engagements you don't need to be involved in. There are going to be business opportunities. High value women don't just hop on the first thing they see. High value women take time to research and really look deeper into things. The next one I want to hit, high value women know how to accept and respect the thoughts of others, even if that thought is different from their thought. They respect the difference of others. They respect individuality. High value women believe in helping, encouraging, empowering, and supporting one another. High value women do not tear other women down. And I can give a prime example. I had a client, dear friend of mine, come in, and she had a bad experience with another stylist and had chose to, do something that I was like, I understood why she made the decision that she made. But because I'm such a big advocate for us unifying and coming together, I said to her, hey, you don't do that. Why don't you go do XYZ? Because I don't want to go into what was done. But long story short, what she had initially did, she reversed it. And she said to me, Kim, would she have done the same thing for you? I said, honestly, no, probably not. But that's not my worry. That's not my concern. Because when I die, Kim only has to answer for Kim. I don't have to answer for her. So if the same situation were to happen to her and she made that decision not to do it, that's on her. But for me, I'm going to stay true to who I am. And more importantly, because I'm so firm and strong in us coming together, why would I sit back and allow that to happen knowing it's going to hurt her? More importantly, we work in the same field. I've been that person who've experienced what these two people were going through. I know what that feels like. So I said that to say high value women cover each other. They not only cover each other, they cover their families, they cover their husbands, they cover their exes. Let's talk about that one, because that's one that we really, really struggle with, especially after a man has hurt us. And I think that was Shon who spoke on how she could have spoke ill of her husband and she could have thought the worst of her husband, but she chose to see the good in him in spite of her hurt, in spite of her pain. And what did God do for her? He took her brokenness and he used it. And not only did it bless her, it blessed her husband, but more importantly, it blessed her children, because they were able to see their mother stay in her, and what word am I going to use for this? They were able to see their mother stay in her godly image, her virtuous image. She was strong in that moment. As broken and as hurt as she probably was, she was still able to see this man is hurting too. I'm not the only one. That is the trait of a high value woman. She's not only concerned about herself, she's concerned about not just her family. She's concerned about the people within her community and those she encounters on a day-to-day basis that she may not even know. She cares about the homeless man on the street who comes up to her and maybe needs $1. She doesn't turn her nose up at him. She may give their brother or their sister a word. These are the traits of a high-value woman. She's not high-minded. She doesn't put herself on a pedestal. She allowed God to elevate her, and she walks in her full authority. She commands attention without commanding attention. Just because she's regal, people want to know this woman when she steps into a room. It's just something about this woman's presence that catches people's attention. She does not believe in gaslighting or withholding love from people that she cares about. And I definitely want to touch on gaslighting because I believe this is something that really causes us not to have low self-esteem when we're in toxic relationships and you're with a partner who is manipulative and deceitful and begins to gaslight. So for those who doesn't understand gaslighting, it's a manipulation tactic. It's a control mechanism. It's a thing that the individual uses kind of to keep you on a yo-yo. They want to keep you confused, keep you second guessing the relationship, wondering if they really like you. Do they really want you? Do they really love you? And then you begin to second guess yourself. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have did this. And it's just to keep you on a yo-yo string so that they continue to play their game, not just with you, but whomever else they are doing this behavior with. And so one thing about a high value woman, she recognizes red flags and she exits immediately. She does not give a man an opportunity to break her down till she becomes nothing. She recognizes her value is in her being able to walk away. She recognizes her strength is in her ability to be able to walk away. Another thing about someone who is, just so you can know if a person is gaslighting you, those individuals will be inconsistent. They will attack your identity. They will take shots at your character. They'll give you mixed signals that will leave you confused, to keep you weak and vulnerable. More importantly, to keep you more susceptible to their narcissistic behavior. Again, this is a term and coin that's being thrown around a lot that many, many people do not understand and need to stop using so loosely. And I don't have time to delve into that tonight. But how value people don't allow people to play on them or prey on them. P-R-E-A-Y. This is why they set boundaries. They don't allow people to play on their emotions. They recognize when someone is toying with them and they call them out immediately. So often women lose their identity in a man simply because we aren't really aware who we are. You see so many broken women walking around and you wonder, why does she look so angry? And that same woman may be wondering, why didn't I get the job? Or why am I still single? Sis, look at your facial expression. The man walked up to you and just said, hello, beautiful. And you gave him what he's speaking to me for. Well, ma'am, you don't want a king. I'ma just tell. Because a king instantly is saying no, because my queen has to know how to carry herself first and foremost. Because a king is going into all types of rooms, all types of doors are being opened for a king. And he can't have no ugly face turned up. He can't have that standing next to him. So he gonna pass you right by, sis. So if you wondering and you doing that, that's why. If you're the woman who's out here just looking for a man to take care of you and you only caring about what he bringing to the table, and then all you got at the table is this, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, that's why you still single, sis. Like, you have to be what you want. And this all is in alignment with your countenance. So if you, like I said, are single, and I know there are quite a few of us still out here waiting on our kings, or for our next king, if you are not making yourself available, if you have not began preparing yourself to be your king's wife, see, because you have to be a wife before he comes. You can't wait until he show up and then want to get ready for him. It does not work like that. If you don't already have the qualities and trait of a wife, your husband not gonna miss you. He not gonna see you because he's looking for a wife. And you don't look like a wife. If you looking to get into that, you want to be the COO of that big corporation that's been around for 100 years, but you walking around with jeans and dirty jeans, rollers in your hair, sis, sorry, because when you was at the gas station, that individual that walked in could have been the next person that was going to give you that opportunity. But because you wasn't looking the part, they passed you by. So again, this is why what you're giving off here, and it's not about it being name brand. It's not about it costing a lot. It's not about your body size. Let me throw that out there. None of that matters. All it's about, are your clothes clean, neat, iron? Is your hair neat, comb? Have you tried to do some fix up your face? Put yourself together, sis, and look like where you want to go. If you want to be in that multi-million-dollar corporation, you got to look like the multi-million-dollar business owner already. You can't wait till you get there. You have to do it now. So the next one is Ecclesiastes 8:1. How wonderful to be wise, to analyze and interpret things. Wisdom lights up a person's face, softening its harshness. Have you ever seen a woman and she just look rough? She just have this hardness, this meanness about her. And so nowadays we hear so many men saying they are looking for women who will give off feminine energy. And so many of us, and I'm guilty, I'm very guilty, ladies. And I literally spent months praying, God, make me soft, make me softer. It took for me being in therapy and really opening myself up and being honest with myself to say, you know what, you got a nasty attitude. Your attitude is horrible. And I don't like it. It wasn't until I made that decision that I began to change myself and that people around me start to see, oh, she's a little bit calmer. She's not popping off as much. But I got sick of me. So at what point do you get sick of you? And so I began to, it took one night I was in here writing because I'm a writer too. And one of my friends was over and I'm deep into what I'm doing, just typing. She said, girl, why you frowned up like that? And I said, huh, I'm not frowning. And she said, yes, you are. I've been standing here looking at you for 10 minutes. Your face, you frowning. Well, what I was writing in that moment was a traumatizing memory for me. And so my face was giving off what I was feeling inside, but I didn't know it. And I'm saying this to say, how often do we do that? How often do we pretend to be okay? And then somebody walk up and say, what's wrong? They may say, what's wrong with you? What you mean, what's wrong with me? Ain't nothing wrong with me. But that's not what this say. Your body language, your gestures, your facial expressions, everything about you is saying something different. And so for me, I began to realize, Kim, you do come across as a little rough, you know, sometimes. And that could be a turnoff to a man. So you might want to start softening that. But my reality was, because it got to the point, y'all, it depressed me. And I'm like, Lord, I ain't asked to be this way. Why am I like this? And I began to look deeper to realize I felt like I had to be. Because I had to be everything to everybody all the time. More importantly, I'm raising sons. The fathers aren't around. So I carry the weight that I should have partners over here helping me. I don't. I have that weight on my back. I have that weight on my shoulder. And so deep down, I was angry. And I began taking it out on other men, especially if they had any trait that resembled someone I had been with or someone that had hurt me, whether it been childhood or adult life, I would take it out on them. Or if someone said something to me wrong, I wasn't realizing, Kim, you're being triggered. This is trauma. You're not really mad at this person. You're seeing something else in this person. But it really took for me to look deep within myself. So that is one thing a high value woman does. She does not always blame other people for her mess. She know how to call her own mess out, and she know how to check her own mess. Even if that means I gotta go to the person and say, hey, I said that to you wrong. I did that wrong. I shouldn't have done that. A high value woman owns that. And she still walks with her head held high after self-correcting. And I want to touch on the Proverbs 31 woman. She is resourceful. She is intentional. She is strong. She is honorable internally. She employs a queen employs the mind of a Proverbs 31 woman. Rhonda was saying how she likes to get up at 10 a.m. That's what works for her. And it's nothing wrong with that. I'm an early bird. I'm up 4:30, 5 o'clock every day. Because I'm going to get up, I'm going to pray. And because again, I'm doing that work inside. That's very, very important to me. So I'm going to make sure I get up and I read my word. I'm going to pray. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to listen to some type of gospel music. I'm going to sing. I'm going to do all that just to make sure my spirit and my head is right when I get ready to go out and present to the world. Kingdom women understand they are a representation of God. Our image tells the world who we are. Queens have the power to open doors with their image. We also have the power to close doors, not only with our image, but with our mouth. Queens and high value women fully understand the power of their words. We use our words wisely. We don't just speak to be speaking. When we open our mouths, we speak with wisdom. You will find high value women. They are articulate. They speak eloquently. They take their time. They're very polished. And I don't want to be long-winded, guys. I have so much more, but you guys will have to get my book. Miss Rhonda has been on me. I owe her a lot, but I promise, Rhonda,
yes, you do.
I'm not done. But the book is the books, because we got many books coming.
Well,
but
let's
the
get
first
it.
book, Pretty Insecure, it is coming, guys. I promise it is. It's been a lot going on, and when the book is released, y'all will understand the delay. But the delayed is not denied.
That's right.
Me. If I say I'm gonna do it, that's one thing. That's another thing about a kingdom-minded, high-value woman. She's a woman of her word. If she tells you something, you can bet your bottom dollar she gonna do it. Period. Whether that's I'm going back to school, whether that's I'm finna open this business, whether I'm gonna get married and I done been divorced 10 times and I'm getting married again, she's going to make it happen. Whether she got raped, homeless, she gonna get up from all of it. Okay, that happened. Now what we doing, God? Now where we going? And she on to the next thing. High value women don't stay stuck. We may have a pity party for a hot little second, but then we be like, girl, if you don't go get your hair combed, get you some lipstick, and get yourself together. And yeah, go on, let Jack hit the road. Wait, guys, let me plug up before I get disconnected. So I want to give you some ways. I'm going to close off with some ways to improve and show the world that you are a high value, kingdom-minded. Remember, we are kingdom-minded. We're kingdom-minded in our businesses. We're kingdom-minded in our family. We don't think small. We know, we fully understand that we serve a big God, and he can do exceedingly abundantly above all we could think or ask. We understand that we can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens us. There's nothing that we can do as long as the Lord is on our side and he's giving his approval. So here's some things that people will see you and know, oh, this is a woman of class. This is a woman about her business. She's always classy. And yes, she definitely a little sassy. We be a little feisty because a lot of us are, we about our business. So yeah, you're gonna get what you're gonna get sometimes. Self-confidence is key. She believes in herself. She fully believes in herself. She believes in her ability. She fully understands her weaknesses are part of what makes her strong. She doesn't let that hold her back or keep her from things. Be self-sufficient and show your independence. Don't be afraid to show the world that you can do things on your own. Be self-sufficient, sis. Please do not be the woman that's out here looking for a man to help her level up. Don't get me wrong, because I don't want no broke man, okay? That ain't me. That's not my story. That ain't my life. It just ain't. However, what I'm bringing to the table and what I want him to bring to the table, I'm making sure we match it. Even though, Lord, he know I didn't pray. I need my king to have more because I got some stuff to do. And yeah, we need to do this together. And can he have a little bit more than me, Jesus? But for the most part, she's bringing her own to the table. She's not looking for him to bring everything. So if he got the house, sis, you need to have the furniture. If he got the car, and maybe this ain't your season for a car, babe, I can help you on gas sometimes. But y'all doing this to work it out together. It's not one-sided. And yes, naturally, y'all, I'm a very honest woman. He gonna be doing more, at least mine is. Because kings provide. God made the man the leader, the head of the house for a reason. And one thing a high value woman does, she allows her man to be king of the castle in all areas. And granted, there may be times he could get laid off from his job or something could happen where his business closed. A high value woman ain't gonna leave her man. A high value woman finna say, okay, babe, what we need to do till you can find new employment or get a new contract. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna work this out together. High value women fully understand the power of a partnership and them being an asset to the relationship and not putting all the weight on a man. Be in tune with your emotions and know how to self-regulate. This is a key one. This is a very big one for a high value woman, especially for those who are sitting in corporate sectors or business sectors. We all know sometimes when you're sitting in those boardroom meetings with a bunch of men who got ego and all of that, and they taking shots because they don't really feel like you belong in there, and maybe you've excelled higher than them. You have to be able to stay in control of your emotions because that's the first thing they're expecting us to do because they already think we're overly emotional and don't know how to control it. So a high value woman has taken time again to really be aware of who she is and understand, not only aware of who she is, but she fully understands why she responds to certain things a certain way and why certain things affect her. She has full understanding of this. That way she can stay in control of herself as well as her emotions. Be kind and compassionate. Be committed to learning. Be committed to your personal development. Again, these are all traits that will let someone know this is a high value woman. Like I said earlier, some of this is repetitive. Be vulnerable. It doesn't make you weak or needy. Vulnerability is an opportunity for you to be able to show your emotions, but more importantly, to be emotionally brave. And this blessed me when I saw this, because I'm like, you know what? How many times have I ever thought like, that was so weak and I feel just horrible. When have I ever just thought, that was brave of me to say that? We don't typically do that. We typically just be like, I can't believe I shouldn't have told them that. When no, we are human beings with real emotions, real feelings, and we have to be able to allow people to see that. So be transparent, be genuine with people. And more importantly, be relatable. Be someone that someone can come and confide in. Be trustworthy. High value women don't gossip. High value women don't sit around talking about and demeaning and tearing down other women. They're spending their time. High value women are sitting at tables discussing business, edifying one another. Be a safe space for people to share their heart with you. High value women fully understand, like I said, the power of our word, as well as the power of us making space in our heart, not just for our family, not just for our men, but for the community at large. There is nothing like going through something and having someone just come up to you and give you a word of encouragement that just shakes and changes your whole day. Again, these are traits of a high value woman. And in order for you to be perceived as high value, you got to believe it, sis. You have to believe in your heart that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You have to believe in your heart you are exactly who God says you are. You are not the hurt you've gone through. You're not the job you lost. You're not whatever pain or trauma you've had to endure in your life. That's not who you are. You are who God says you are. And until you fully understand that, you will not be a high value woman. You have to know who you are in God and the purpose he put you here for. That will help you to move into a whole nother realm of life. It will push you in a whole nother direction. You will become so focused. Your vision, you'll have tunnel vision because you'll be so focused on becoming this woman that God has told you that you are. I have so much respect for each one of you ladies, hearing your stories, because you have truly evolved. You have walked into your becoming. You have owned who you are in your brokenness, in your mess. You still were able to get up and rise up out of it. That is the face of a modern day queen. So I have to say, ladies, if you want to know what a queen looks like, we have a panel full of high value, kingdom minded women. I'm going to close out. That way, again, I have a lot more. So you guys can follow me on my socials. The page for the nonprofit is Pretty Virtuous Girl Society. I have an online clothing boutique. The social for that is Luxe Couture, LUXE-KOUTURE. And then there is my hair salon page. That's Kimberly Vonshay. You all can hit me on KimberlyVonshay.com. That's where you can book hair appointments or get to the online boutique. If you want to go directly to the boutique, that's luxecouture.com. Like I said, Rhonda and I are working on my book. I'm in trouble, y'all. I'm in trouble.
You're in trouble.
I do have one thing. If y'all give me 2 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and release it here tonight. I have a new hoodie line that I've been holding out. I posted pictures a couple times, y'all, and I pulled it down. Holy Spirit said, no, release it on the show. So just give me 2 seconds and I'll be right back.
Okay. While she is getting it, I do want to take the time to thank each and every one of you for being here. And if you have your shirt on, can everybody show their shirts if you got your shirt on? Yes, change your mind, change your life. Thank you, ladies. And Dr. Sonya, I'm going to get you another shirt. Her red did not print well because, you know, she wears red because of her sorority. I'm going to get you another shirt, Dr. Sonya. I have not forgotten about that. But I do appreciate each and every one of you. This has been phenomenal. I knew that it absolutely would be. Okay, go ahead, Kim.
Okay, y'all ready for my big reveal? So, one night, well, let me say this, and I Pastor Rashawn Jordan, we were on a live one night, and he began to prophesy over me, and he said, I see you drawing out some shirts, and I'm like, well, I don't draw, but okay, and he's like, I see a bunch of notebooks. Well, I knew it was God because at the time I had a bunch of notebooks because, again, I've been working on this book. So I had a bunch of notebooks all over the place. And I was like, okay, this definitely God, because he can't see in here, know that I got these books all over the place like this. And then I said, okay, well, my son, because my son is a fashion designer and he can draw and all this. So I said, okay, well, maybe it's going to be Trey drawing me out something. Okay, whatever. I received it. And he was like, yeah, I see you drawing out. And he kind of said some other things. And I'm like, okay. And he was on point with everything. Okay, cool. Except I'm still like, Lord, to the point, y'all, because I prayed the prophet. And if I know it was a prophecy that's from God, that's real, tested, tried, and true. So y'all know what I was going over here trying to draw. Now the Lord then said I'm gonna be drawing some shirts. So let me get the practice in to see if I really got this gift. Well, I kind of had stick figures for my shirt, but whatever. Anyway, go to sleep. Maybe a week, 2 weeks. I don't remember the exact timeline, but I wake up in the middle of the night. God does this to me often, probably 4 or 5 in the morning. Get up. And the phrase "pop out queen" comes out. And I said, what? Pop out queen. Okay. All right, whatever. Go back to sleep. I'm like, okay. Get up the next day and I'm out getting inventory and doing things for the boutique, trying to get all this stuff ready. And something just told me to stop and pick up hoodies. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just get these hoodies because I have some other hoodie lines and I'll just have hoodies. Maybe I'm gonna redo those. Well, I go to this place and long story short, let me find the very first one. This is what was created. Can you guys see that? So this was the very first. I'm going to take it out the package so you guys can really see it. And so if y'all can see it, actually has a black girl's face in it. Can y'all see that? And so it went from that to this, to this. One of them are the cutest one sold. I have one that's white with the blue in this color. And then we have this one. And again, these are just my samples. And so let me tell y'all, when I was like, hey, Lord, what exactly is this? Does this mean? Well, Holy Spirit began to minister to me. I told you it's your time to come out, pop out. You're not being raped no more. You're not being molested no more. You're not being abused no more. You're not broken anymore. You are a queen. Pop out, queen. Come out of what you were in. Come out of who they said you are. Come out of what you did. Come out of who did it to you. You are who I said you are. I told you to come out from amongst them. I said, my God. Got it. So okay. I present to y'all the pop out queen.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We have definitely gone over. I do apologize, but I do appreciate everyone for staying on for the time. And I just want to give anybody just a few seconds if you want to say anything to any of the speakers, or if we have anything that we want to say to each other. I had wrote down some comments, but because we've gone so far over time, I won't elaborate. Go ahead, somebody unmute it. Trenace, Andrea, you all have something you want to say?
No, I was just sharing my music, my mindset music with you all. That's all. I don't have nothing to say. This was good.
Okay. It was excellent. It was excellent. I said that this was going to be the most epic Zoom of 2021, and you ladies did it. I am so grateful to all of you all, And I just want to say really quick that I'm just going to go down the list real quick. So, of course, Trenace and I are friends, right? And, that's my girl. So Andrea Carson, I first met her at an event. I heard her speak. And it was ever since that first time that we were both speaking at that event, she just touched my heart. I love her so much. She just
I love you
to my
too.
Spirit. Thank you, boo. And we have other commonalities. I helped her publish her first book. And so she's an author. And let me tell you, if you do not have her book, you need to get her book of prayers. It will change your life when
Hand me
I
my book real
tell
quick.
you. Oh my God. When I was editing the book, I sent her a message. I'm like, look, I can't get through this. I'm getting happy trying to edit the book and tears and all kinds of stuff. Just, oh my God, the Holy Spirit will enter the room. I'm telling you, with this book, it's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. And then Dr. Sonya and LaShawn actually know through Trenace. Dr. Sonya, myself, and Trenace have been on the telephone having conversations about whatever. And I really think she is an incredible woman. And she has an incredible book inside of her as well. And Mrs. LaShawn went, Trenace, what was the name of the virtual dinner that you did? What was it called?
I don't remember.
So we had this virtual dinner, right? So, and where you order your own food, and that Trenace came up with, so we did that. And LaShawn was one of the women on this virtual dinner thingy that we can't remember the name of. But when I tell you the information that she was giving, and at that time she was talking about relationships. And when this came up, when I decided to do this, I said, Trenace, I gotta have LaShawn. Can you call her for me? Can you tell her? Can you ask her for me, please? And Miss Glynis Howard, I actually vended, because I do paparazzi. I actually was a vendor at one. She did a singles event that was just like high level, that I had never seen or experienced anything like it before. And ever since her event, her and I have been in contact one way or another. And if you follow Glynis Howard on Facebook, she does these incredible lives almost every morning where she's giving a word of God, or she's praying, or she's speaking. So she's awesome in that, right? And then Kim. Now, I actually met Kim through Trenace as well, but Kim and I have developed our own relationship. She's been to my home. We broke bread. She's been on my, when I had my radio show in Ferguson, came in St. Louis. She's on my radio show. This woman came and blessed my house in prayer, baby. Let me tell you something. I got to tell the story, but I'll make it real quick because I know everybody got to go. So she was here, right? And when she was here, I fixed us breakfast, whatever. We sit down, we trying to eat. And we were actually supposed to have been going over things about her book, if I'm not mistaken. So I wasn't feeling well. And my son was going through some challenges physically as well, because we went through a time period where they thought my son had leukemia. 21 has been a whole something. But anyway, so I go in the bathroom the first time, and I come back out, and I go back in the bathroom, because again, I said I wasn't feeling well. And so the Holy Spirit said, Kim, you think she's there for this, but she's there to pray over you, right? So the third time I go in the bathroom, I come back out, I said, Kim, I said, okay, the Lord said, you got to pray over me. Man, look, that girl set fire in my house, okay? She prayed for me, and then my daughter was here, and whatever the Holy Spirit told her, she said, get your daughter here now. I didn't even have to call my daughter. My daughter walked through the door just as soon as Kim had asked for her. She prayed over my daughter as well. I said all that to say that all of you are phenomenal, and I love each and every one of you. I appreciate you so very much. And this is not the last time that we will be together in one way or another. Thank you so very much, ladies.
Oh, I think I'm gonna do another Zoom dinner party.
Okay.
I just don't know. I just don't know when.
Okay. I'm there for it.
And Trenace, can you give us the information for your book?
She got like 5 of them.
The prayer book you just said.
That's Andrea's book.
That's Andrea's book.
I thought you just said something about. Okay. Okay, well, what is it?
Andrea, show your book.
You can go to Amazon.com and just put in Andrea Carson, Andrea Carson. And the name of the book is My Prayers, My Purpose, God's Promise. It looks like, this is what it looks like, Kim.
Prayer, my purpose.
God's promise.
So Trenace, you've done another one since Dear Future Wife.
I'm working on one right now.
Dear future husband.
I mean, Lord, see, see, devil, you a lie, you a lie.
Understood.
Dear future
Yeah,
husband.
no, because that one was really good too. Well, I got that one.
Okay. All right, thank you all. And I'm glad, I love how we support one another, but we're going to close out. Andrea, can you close us out in prayer, please?
All right. Most gracious and our wise God, we just say thank you for this wonderful changing our mind and changing our life event. We thank you for all the women that you brought together, these queens, these divinely created creatures who are created in your image to fulfill the purpose which you have anointed them all to do. We're just closing right now, dear God, asking that you will watch over each of us as we go about our evening, and just keep us in your will, in your way, and allow us to be able just to touch one life to help them to realize that without you, they can't make it, but with you, they can do all things. We love you and we thank you for everything. In Jesus' name, amen. Good night,
Amen.
ladies.
Good
Love
night.
you all.
Love y'all.
Good night, ladies. Love you all. Bye-bye.